Who are you?
Hey, I'm Erik. I'm building LYTN. It's a high performance endurance supplement company. In that same spirit, I'll be racing the Pikes Peak Ultra 50 miler hosted by MadMoose Events.
Do you have childhood trauma? Because who signs up and wants to do an ultra marathon?
Right. I don't have childhood trauma. I definitely enjoyed my childhood. Parents and grandparents definitely made sure everything was amazing for me. And if you ask them, I was always a runner from the beginning. And I think as you get older, you realize the world isn't as it seems as a child, and that's where I guess the trauma comes in. Um, Definitely made different merchandise on that topic of trauma, I guess, and you can say the one I'm wearing right now is Rage, Rage Against Darkness, and inspired by a poem. And the other hat and merchandise I've made so far is Pain, um, based on not having the deep understanding of the amount of grief I could have as family members pass away, and kind of expressing that creatively through the merchandise, but also through running and trying to find my place there.
What got you started with running?
Yeah, like I said, definitely as a child, definitely was running, but I grew up playing baseball actually, and so I'm coming from that realm. And we don't really do a lot of running in baseball, but always wanted to be kind of like fast in the group and stealing bases, things of that nature. And being born and raised in Chicago, definitely not a lot of trails out there, and I've always wanted to be more in the mountains and nature, and made the move out here to Colorado, and plenty of trails out here, and just loving it. Yeah, it's been amazing. Trails and mountains are definitely hard with all the elevation gain and the vert as we do as and running in the mountains and trails. But that's definitely very comforting out there.
Why do you run?
Why do I run? That's a great question. Uh, Definitely somewhat spiritual for me and many others, but I definitely enjoy just enduring and running through every single mile, every single step. I've done or attempted to run the Dead Horse Ultra back last year, and that was a 50 miler. I made it to mile 40. I would have completed the 50, but there's safety concerns and time cutoffs that I didn't make, so I made the decision to um, kind of cut it there at mile 40, and that was my very first ultra. It was a great experience.
Why your own supplements?
Yeah, I have electrolytes and creatine called respectively ultralights and ultratine. I saw a gap that I needed to fill in terms of running these ultras, and like I said, I ran my first one last year, and the flavor fatigue that I was getting out there in the runs and even during training was pretty substantial. So I created my own cucumber lime, very flavorful, very refreshing. Um, my mental state as well thinks when I taste the cucumber flavor in my electrolytes, it allows me to rehydrate my mind as well, because I think back to cucumbers being 95% or more percentage of water, and that definitely refreshes my mental state, as well as the palate. It's super cleansing. And then the ultratine is basically creatine, and there's a lot of studies coming out with 10 grams per scoop, essentially per serving, will improve your cognitive function, especially on these long multi-day races. They can definitely help you make improvements into your decision making while you're sleep deprived, right? And so you want to make these right decisions every single step of the way so that you can finish these multi-day ultras.
What was your first ultra like? Dead Horse 50 miles in 2025?
Yeah. Um, Never been to Moab, Utah. I would say I'm not very impressed by nature often, being growing up in a ranch and visiting grandparents in that respect. But Moab was definitely a shocker, and what a beautiful place. Definitely recommend if you haven't been. You can see the Milky Way galaxy, the Andromeda galaxy, um, all the stars and UFOs, if you will. But the race itself was awesome. Like the first 10 miles felt great. Kept it reserved as you know you're taught or you learn on these ultras. And somewhere along the way, definitely ran out of my electrolytes and kind of got into my mental state. I was like, oh, I don't have my supply of electrolytes and refreshment. But out there, you know, the team definitely had great options. Lime electrolytes, they had pretzels and things of that nature. And so, yeah, the rock out there was really hard on the knees. I didn't wear the right shoes, as you learn on your first ultra. Um, and I've been just iterating ever since. And so, did complete a 50K recently this past 2 months, and now looking forward to Pikes Peak Ultra and 50 miler.
Why creatine for an ultra runner?
Yeah, definitely great question. As I said, you know, my supplement lines are more focused on endurance, especially on these multi-day ultras, and really any endurance sport, motocross, MotoGP, Le Mans, right? Like all these drivers have to have hydration. But creatine for an ultra runner, I would say specifically the cognitive function and that support that you need over sleep deprivation, things of that nature, just kind of pushing through. Obviously, during regular training, you get the benefit of creatine for your muscles and regular strength training, but our line specifically is also to aid in that, but more primarily for the cognitive function support and sleep deprivation that comes with not sleeping on multi-day ultras.
What keeps you going when it gets tough?
I definitely think about family a lot, my dogs as well, and kind of going through those cycles, right, of highs and lows, and there are definitely highs and there's definitely lows, kind of just putting one foot in front of the other. And I definitely think I can, and many others can just keep putting one foot in front of the other. But you kind of just become numb to certain pains and you're just in your head a lot. And so, kind of pulling yourself out of that mental state of, you know, you can't do this, stop, kind of body, it's aching and everything's telling you in your bones to stop is one of the reason why our slogan is do not fear. And it's a powerful message. It's probably a very one of the most common phrases within the Bible. And whether you're spiritual or religious or not, I think having that phrase of do not fear is important because it does show up a lot in the Bible, and historically that has served many humans across millennia, right? And so that's the primary motive for me to continue on these ultras and continue each mile and continue each step. Do not fear.
What's the best piece of advice you've received about long distance running?
Yeah, the best advice that I've seen in getting into the ultra space of ultra marathons is, you know, take care of your feet throughout the whole process and watch a lot of documentaries, watch a lot of videos, and Jeff Pelletier is kind of one of those mentors in that space for me in terms of what to do, what not to do, what to look out for, and videos are great. And some of that advice is, you know, take care of your feet early on and throughout the whole process, and you can definitely continue pushing forward.
What's your essential gear and what's one item you never leave home without?
Definitely, as I said, the electrolytes. For me, being sensitive, I guess, to the flavor fatigue, cucumber lime super refreshing. It's not just because I'm saying it; like I made it because I wanted to solve this problem for myself, and hopefully others enjoy it as well. But that's definitely one piece of kit I don't leave without. And recently been moving from a vest to a belt waisted kind of cargo. And so like the belt systems have really allowed me to reduce stress on the back muscles. And so mile 20, my back's not hurting. Mile 30, I can still push through and swing my arms just as great. So I would say belt system as well as electrolytes.
How do you plan on managing nutrition and hydration during your Pikes Peak Ultra race?
Yeah, gonna be tricky, but there are definitely plenty of aid stations. I think that it's well organized, and so the aid stations and drop bag scenarios, I'm gonna have extra supply of everything and Ziploc bags and hold everything there as well. Making sure I eat plenty of carbs. Hopefully, like 40 to 50 grams per hour, and having those aid stations definitely gonna help. So that's kind of how I'm planning the fueling process as well as having a scoop of ultralights every single hour.
What's going to be the hardest part of the Pikes Peak Ultra for you?
Yeah, moving from Chicago with basically zero elevation gain to Colorado has been an eye opener for sure in terms of how much the elevation can affect your race and your performance. Being acclimated here for plenty of months now, I think that's definitely been beneficial to my running. But I think the hardest part will be the amount of vertical gain within this race, which is it's a 50-mile course and we have 12,000 feet of elevation gain. I think within the first half of that, or close to, right? And so that elevation gains within the race is going to be something very challenging for myself. And so I've been trying to train injuries left and right here and there, but trying to do proper recovery protocols and things of that nature to make sure I'm the best fit for this race that's coming up.
Do you think you will hallucinate during this ultra?
Hopefully not, but the elevation definitely plays a factor into it, and the elevation gain as well. So we're going to be above 8,000 feet, 10,000 feet for the majority of the race, as well as 12,000 feet of gain from the starting point throughout the whole course. And so I think maintaining good electrolyte hydration, eating the carbs that I need to intake per hour should definitely allow me not to hallucinate. But if I do, I think that's part of the game. And um, another piece of great advice that I just thought about and recalled is, just fuel properly and maintain your calories that you need for your body to continue, having the performance you want for that race.
What will be your go to post race meal after your Pikes Peak adventure coming up?
Definitely pizza. Definitely big on pizza after a big race or any race really. Even like Monday's run clubs, maybe 4 to 6 miles. But definitely want pizza afterwards and refuel the body with those carbs. And so pepperoni pizza is the only way to go.
What is some hot take or an unpopular opinion you have about running?
Ooh, yeah, great question. I think a hot take on that would be considering a 50K or 30 miler not an ultra distance because it's essentially 4 more miles from a marathon, a road marathon or a trail marathon, and so that's kind of my hot take. I know it's definitely considered anything beyond 26.2 miles is considered an ultra, and my professional background is in computer science and engineering, and so I deal a lot with technicalities. So technically, a 50K, a 30 miler race is an ultra, but I think we should have different categories for the distances beyond a marathon distance of 26.2 because 30 miles is drastically different from a 200 100 miler to now they have Arizona Monster 300. Yeah. So these are not the same races. They're all kind of lumped into the ultra space, and so I think we should have some different distinctions there.
A few rapid fire questions. What's the longest you've ever spent in a porta potty during a race?
Yeah, thinking back, it's probably pushing closer to like 20 to 30 minutes. The watch didn't track that, and Strava didn't record it because you pause your watch. But yeah, it was probably pushing closer to 20 to 30. Now, working on these different aspects of the ultra running and endurance sports, like you trying to fine tune certain things, and so that's one of the things I'm definitely trying to improve on during the race, but it kind of just happens. It's nature and or natural, and so just try to improve those things.
How many toenails do you think you will lose during the Pikes Peak Ultra?
Yeah, with all the vert, hopefully not too many, but I have lost toes, either running or not running in recreational activities, but hopefully none. I don't think I will lose the toenail, but if I had a bet, maybe one or two.
Do you have any mantras?
Do not fear. That's definitely my mantra, and I always tell myself during the race, and it definitely shifts my mindset to not only put the one foot in front of the other, but to actually do well and perform to the best of my ability because I know a day or 2 days or a week from now during that race, I'll definitely reflect and think back like I could have pushed it a little harder. Um, and that's definitely one of the mantras that helped me achieve that goal.